Hello everyone, this is topic 15, the dialogic text type. Introduction. A key component within communicative competence, which is the acknowledged aim of all language instruction, is pragmatic competence, which among other things includes mastery of discourse and the identification of culturally specific scripts and situations. Moreover, it should not be forgotten that the text is central to any act of linguistic communication. The text may be defined as any passage, whether spoken or written, of whatever length, which forms a unified whole. It's also a semantic unit, a unit of language in use. One of the main characteristics of a text is to have texture, which is mainly achieved through cohesion, which may be defined as a semantic integration among its parts. Along with cohesion, another text-centered notion is coherence, which concerns the way in which the concepts and relations underlying the surface text are mutually accessible and relevant. Rhetorical modes, also known as modes of discourse, describe the variety, conventions, and purposes of the major kinds of writing. There are 6 main text types of text, and here they are. However, the boundary between these text types is not clear-cut, because they're not mutually exclusive and indeed frequently overlap. The dialogic text. Dialogic texts are carried out as an exchange or a series of verbal exchanges between 2 or more interactants who are generally present, and when reported or imitated in writing, for purposes of rhetorical entertainment and instruction, dialogue is also a literary form in which 2 or more parties engage in a discussion. Oral dialogue. Despite the literary origin of the term, dialogic texts are usually oral. They progress through a system of turn-taking and are usually about a fixed topic. These topics are limited by the context, which conditions the roles of the participants. Within oral dialogues, we should distinguish between spontaneous conversation and non-spontaneous conversation, subject to prior planning. Spontaneous conversations are more richly developed, since they are less planned, of course, and therefore less restricted and more fully revealed. It is now important to mention that although conversations, especially those from the spontaneous type, may seem to happen in a completely arbitrary way, this is not so. On the contrary, as other texts, they are governed by a series of features and possess an internal structure. Conversation, then, can be said to be a highly structured linguistic activity. Characteristics of dialogic texts. Here we can make clear reference to the list of features that distinguish speech from written language. In terms of lexis, the vocabulary is often less formal and colloquial expressions may be present, as well as slang and contractions, for example. Emphatic and didactic expressions to maintain the communication flow are also frequent. In terms of grammar, the structure is much looser, and it can be difficult to determine where one construction ends and another one begins. Grammatical features specifically associated with speech include, for example, interrupted constructions, disjointed constructions, incomplete constructions, and non-standard grammar. It is also characteristic to encounter spontaneity phenomena such as frequent pauses, interruptions of the natural flow, repetitions, hesitations, and false starts. Now, for the following sections of this video, which are right here, please check the topic which is on the corner of the video. The structure of conversation. The structure of conversation is much more complex than that of sentences in isolation, and it is marked by 2 main conversational features, which are sequencing and turn-taking. Sequencing. Sequencing refers to the conventions for arranging the openings, development, and closings of conversations, conventions for holding or yielding the floor, and interrupting. In short, sequencing is the ordering of contributions to conversations. Speakers must interact and ratify one another on what's being said, besides adapting their utterances to the situation and their interlocutor's competence. In this sense, conversation is regulated by a series of periphrases, questions or answers, and non-verbal signs, all of which constitute feedback. Turn-taking. Turn-taking is one of the fundamental organizations of conversation. People take turns when they are selected or nominated by the current speaker, or if no one is selected, they may speak of their own accord. That is self-selection. During the other person's turn, we may use back-channel responses to show that we're listening. Some people even overlap and complete sentences for others. Some ways of signaling turn-taking include body language, eye contact, a drop in pitch, and question tags. Turn-taking largely differs from one language and culture to another, and so it becomes a tricky social question for non-native speakers. In conclusion, students need to be presented with and encouraged to produce different types of text. By exploring natural language used in authentic environments, learners gain a greater appreciation and understanding of the discourse patterns associated with a given event, as well as the social-linguistic factors that contribute to linguistic variation across settings and contexts. In the concrete case of dialogic texts, they are a most useful tool for teachers as modules of language in use. Besides, they are highly insightful in the sense that they exploit the main conversational features as regards negotiation of meaning and cooperation, sequencing and turn-taking. In short, students need to be able to distinguish the different genres, know what the purpose in reading and writing them is, and therefore know what to select. This will allow them to have some knowledge of what to expect when they read, or what they should be aiming at when they write. Thank you so much for watching. Feel free to check the rest of the topics, like, comment, subscribe, whatever, and I'll see you in the next one.